Okay. So yeah, you were, I guess, going to ask some question.
Yeah. So yeah, so I understand up to the -1,
Okay.
but then
Hmm.
while num of loop is less than length of list, print number of loop.
Just
Okay,
let's just stop
okay,
here.
string. You added a string and say
Yeah,
print,
this is a string. Hmm.
yeah, and then adds the value. Okay, I understand that now also.
Okay.
Uh, I the next line of code, I is equal to number of loop print I. Okay, I think I understand that now.
Hmm.
Print I as a string, I as a value. Can I see the output again?
Hmm. Let me change this I.
Yeah.
This is like value of list, and I is something like this. I is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it looks like in the list.
Okay.
Maybe it's kind of confusing because this is also like 1 0 1 2 3 4, something like this. If I can go up here and change this to 10, this 22, this maybe 23, this maybe, let's do table of 11, 22, 33,
Yeah,
44,
44,
55,
55,
66. Yeah.
66.
And if I do something like this, and if I again run this code, maybe this time it will be a bit clear. Let's add this slash n to add a new line. Now give it a look, and just
I see.
so we are doing here two things just to keep in mind. This number of loop is the current number, like how many times did we looped, and this we are also using this thing as to get the index as to get the value from the list. We are also treating this as an index value or something, and we are also evaluating the while loop based upon this. As you can see, this num square bracket, and like we are entering like this, and here we are also comparing or getting the condition for the while loop.
Yeah, I got it.
So the basic point was, behind this for keyword, that's what they are doing. They are comparing the length, and they're maybe creating a temporary variable in which they are like, okay, through on which we need to compare that stuff. So behind this for loop, that all is going, and then they are adding something and getting the value, and then they are also making us available that current value here. That's a lot of mess, but in for loop, see how easy that was, like for k and I, and in k we get the current value on which the loop is kind of present. Like, now is the kind of difference clear with for and while loop?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can we do another example?
Hmm. Oh, another example of while or
Uh,
for?
yeah, just another line of code. Just again, just to repeat.
For this while loop.
Yeah, for while loop. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any kind of situation or?
Um, let's
Hmm.
maybe use names, not numbers.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Names is equals to early, and maybe we can
Ali,
say
yeah,
John.
John.
Then maybe we can, if I could write that today, then maybe we can do Ella. I don't know if it's a name or not, but Anita. Okay,
Yeah.
good to go, I guess. And then I'm like, while, I need to create two variables. One is like current cu double r current cu current is equals to 0. This time I'm making it kind of short, current, and lngth len l is just length. I'm like len names of length and do -1. Okay, and then I'm like while cur is less than let's just do less than l. Okay, go inside that, and after going inside that, just take I is equals to names and take give me the value which is on this index, which is ur. Initially it would be 0, but later on we would keep increasing this thing, and I'm like print this is the string, and after that we just put I, which would be our names, and here we would add an increment to current plus is equals to 1. I hope this works. Oh, greater than, less than. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. So maybe we need to put equal to make all of them for available here. Yeah, here we go. And just a second, we can also do print and cur to monitor the value of cur in each loop cycle. And if I do something like this, here you go. That's how it works. See, cur acts as an index, and on index 0 we have only index 1, John, and Allah, I don't know what this is, and Anita. And we are also evaluating on this cur, and this thing, if you're curious what is the value behind this code, and the value behind this code is 3. Yeah, the length of this is 4, but the index, yeah, index is kind of the maximum index we can access is 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. We can read like this, the number of last index or something like this, the maximum value of index or something like that. That's here. If the current index is smaller than or equal to the maximum index. Oh, we can do this. Current index, we can read this as a current index. Current index, and we can read this as maximum index. And if I can do something like this, it's easy to compare. Like, yeah, just treat this cur as current index and L as maximum index. If current index is less than or equal to the maximum index, then yeah, go ahead and enter the loop and do the stuff. What about now?
Yeah, I understand now.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And for this for loop, let's do that same for that thing.
Yeah.
First name in names, then I'm like print first name, and that's pretty easy. I got all of them, and I can add, as I added here, name is equal to something like that. And put a comma, and that's quite identical with the while loop, right?
Yeah, it is.
So for loop, when like it's easy, it's good to use for loop when you know you have a list or something. But if you use a while loop, then you additionally need to put extra conditions to make this while loop stop, because if you don't put this condition or don't write a code which eventually or later on makes this condition false, if you're not making this condition false in like near future, then this while loop is never gonna end. But maybe like this VS Code will end this after maybe 1,000 iteration or 10,000. It has a kind of limit, but for some time it will, like after some time it will crash. maybe the PC or this Jupyter Notebook or VS Code will crash. That's the important thing to know. And yeah,
So say that again. If you don't put a while,
if we don't put a if we don't put a code that will later on make this condition right here false,
mm,
then this while loop will execute forever.
mm,
That's all. We just need to add some code inside this while body that later on makes this condition false so we can get out of this while loop. That's right here. We are doing an increment, and eventually this will be greater than, the length of the list or something, and that will get false and we will get out of the while loop.
okay, I got it.
Okay, cool. And we were having, I guess, a good example of while loop up somewhere up here, the like a real life kind of example. Where is that? Here we go. Here it is. So like you see, initially we said that a is true. Oh yeah, that's okay. We are like, when a is equals to true, we're just checking if the value stored inside a is equal to true. If that's true, then go and continue the stuff. And I'm like just taking an input from the user. I'm like, enter a number, and then later on I am evaluating if the user entered a valid Python number. If yes, then I'm saying change a from to true to false. So the next time the execution, when the execution will be finished, and it will again come up on this while, and it will evaluate whether a is equals to true, but at that time it will be false because a had been updated right here. Let's run this and try this thing. So as you can see on the top, if I enter T and press enter, it will again make say me that, oh, go again and enter that stuff. I enter RR A D G B anything, but as soon as I enter a number 7, it finished. Because why? Because this thing right here, it kind of evaluates if something
It's
is,
numeric. Yeah.
if it's numeric or not. So if it is, then it will change the state of a from true to false. And as soon as this will be like here, it will be like written like in the background, it will be like false, and obviously false is not equal to true. So it will be like, okay, the condition is not valid or it's false, so it will not enter that. That is a good example when you want the user to enter their roll number or ID number, and that's only in numbers. So yeah, we just put a condition, a while loop, that until the user does, like, we need to kept on asking the user to enter a number until, kept on enter the ID until he or she enters the valid ID or something. We can put more condition. If the ID, if the first letter, like the first 4 letter are equal to like a string which is like their institute, MS, safety, Microsoft, and then we have number, we can add like multiple conditions, and based upon them we can terminate the loop or something.
I see.
Instead of this, we can also write like break. We can just break the loop, but we also have the choice to update this thing. So multiple things. Okay. Yeah, we were done with this. We were done with this. We were done with this too. Now we have dictionary, and now we have for loop. And here let's add 3 to 3 equals to 3. So yeah, this time we are, if I enter only dictionary, maybe I will get error. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll get error. So to loop through a dictionary, we need to specify by adding the name of the dictionary, which is, let's put D1, D1 here. So D1 is the name of our dictionary, and we are like, okay, loop through D1 But loop through its values. What are values? These strings are just the values. Or if we need to loop through the keys, we can enter. What's wrong with you? Or maybe I need to run this. Okay. We can enter keys right here to loop through the keys. Like see 1, 2, 3. Now we have the. Here we are looping through the values. Here we are looping through the keys. And that's the dictionary. But let's suppose there was a case when you needed to loop through both keys and the values. Yeah, for sure we can do that. But for that, instead of that, we need to write items. ITEMS. And right here, it will pack them together, the key and the value, and like this it will pack that together. But if we want to unpack this, like you can see, it's like packed together in a tuple. Like key is here and the second value is the value of the dictionary, and they're packed together. But if I enter like key comma value, and again this could be anything, this could be k and this could be v, but to make it more meaningful I just said like this. And if I copy this and paste this here, so now we can treat them separately. And right here if I do like +1, it will add something in that, and you can notice this. So we can treat keys and values differently or something, maybe +1, or maybe just the original value of the keys. So like, did you got the difference between values, keys, and items?
Yeah. Keys, though, I am not sure that I fully understand when you use the word keys. How do we define keys?
Okay, so in dictionary, this is the dictionary. This is
Okay.
Python dictionary. And
Okay.
in Python dictionary, we store each value against a key. Let's suppose we have some employees, and employees data is stored inside a list. And here is the employee ID 01, maybe I 119, and the employee name is Ali. And next one, the employee ID is 220, and his name is I don't know, John. So to access the value, the name, we need to specify that what, if we want to access a particular value from this dictionary, we need to specify their keys. Okay, give me the data against this key. I'm like emp, I need the data against this key 119, and it will return me Ali, because against maybe I didn't drain this one. Oh yeah, so it's giving me Ali. So this is the key and this is the value.
Okay.
Like, did you understood?
Okay.
So in this case, this was our case. The key was 1, and the value stored in the key named as 1 was like ONE, and in 2 we have TWO2, in 3 we have THREE, and right here we were like, okay, go to D1 and only loop through the values. Here I only get like 1, 2, 3, and here I'm like, go in D1 and only loop through the keys, which is like 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here
Yeah.
I'm like, I need both of them, so I just put it item, and here I can put two variables, two temporary variables. In first one I'll get the keys, in second one I will get the values.
I understand it now.
That's great. Whew. Range. Do you remember this function, range function?
Yeah, I do. That's the range of the values in the that is
Uh-huh.
stored in the variable, right?
Mm, maybe half of your answer was good. It generates
Mhm.
a range or something. If I do, like, if I apply this for loop for I in range 10, so it will give me something like this, 0, 1, 2 up till 9, because in Python everything
Yeah, I
starts from
want
0.
the last
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what it does. It generates like a range or something. We can generate different type of range. Like start from 10. Let me do this. Start from 10, go up till 20, and generate something like this. And if now I loop through this 10 to 20, it will start from 10 and end up to 19. And even though I can add steps, if I enter, like by default it is like 1. This is the step, like after this number, what should be the length of the step? I'm like 1, which is by default it's same. But if I enter 2, it will take 2 steps and then give me the next number. It's like
22, 24.
10.
Yeah.
So it's just jumping. After 10, it will jump to the second next number or something like this. It will jump over 2 numbers. That's all
Yeah,
what
but
it does.
why is it skipping 20?
Because
It
as you
20 is not in the output.
yeah, we have the length, we have the it will generate, like this part will generate. Like if I don't enter this, you will see here it will give me the number up till 19. I was on 18 and I told him jump up, like you need to take jump of length 2, and that is equals to like 20, but we haven't generated 20, so it just really stops on this. Although we have the access to 19, but we can't really do that because we haven't generated 20. But if I do here like 22, then I enter 2. Yeah, I guess now it will jump to 20, because
Oh,
this time our range is generated up till 21, and we can do
okay.
that. But if
Understand
it's
that.
like maybe if
I
I enter
understand that.
21, maybe we can get a y.
Then
Y
to get
21 we can, yeah, yeah.
what's
Okay. Oh, nested loops. Any thought about this? Nested for loops?
yeah, I've heard about, I mean, nested for loops. I mean, I can, I can't say I have no idea. I just can't remember exactly what it is because
If you
I
could,
know we
if you,
did that in the program that I did.
if you could compare this code and just compare like these first few lines of the output, can you really tell what exactly is happening? Let me help you. Like we have two lists. A is like train test, and B is like cell, face, flower. And this is like the output. It's like train cell, train face, train flower, test cell, test face, test flower. And this is our code. Two loops, one is like outer loop, one is inner loop, but this loop is inside another loop, and this print statement is inside the second loop. So can you just try to figure out the workflow of this code or something?
I know it's reiterates. Maybe that's not the right language, but it did a alteration, so to say, of A and B and combines them in a different way. Train cell, train face, train flower, and then it goes test cell, test face, test flower.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's kind of dive deep into that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And let's turn on the spotlight. So right here, as you know, for loop takes the first value. Okay, this train comes here and gets stored into this thing, right?
Can you say that again, please?
This, okay, we are like for data in A, and what's A is this thing. And
Yeah.
so this for loop will pick up the first value and will
Yeah.
be like, okay, go again, or go, come here, come inside this value. So now
Mm.
this data set is having this value, which is a string named
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
train. Clear? Like, Hannah?
Yeah.
Good to go. Okay. So after this, it's like, okay, now let's go inside the body of for loop, and this all is body of this for loop, this one. Like this all is body of this for loop, right? Because after this one tab, anything is inside this body, inside the body of this for loop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, we have another loop. This loop
On
is
that for
saying,
loop.
okay, go in B, and what is B? B is this thing. And it will be like, okay, take this first value, which is cell, and store it inside this category, right?
Yeah. Take what? That last statement. Let me try to get it. Take what are we storing in category?
B. Oh, values from B. I'm looping through B. So what
Okay.
can I store in B? Oh, in this. I'm just looping through B. And what is B? B is this.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah.
So what is your guess? What would be stored
Um
in this thing? Like initially, at the first time, what would be stored in this?
B and B and B and B and B. Well, I guess we can.
If B is something like this, and
Yeah.
initially we are looping through this, so the loop will enter like from here, and what it will store in this thing, like at the first time or initially.
Yeah, it will store the first value, right?
And what is the first value?
Cell, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
So in this case, this A is storing this train,
Yeah.
and in this case, this category is storing this cell,
Cell. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Clear? So this is train and this is cell, and right here we have a print statement. So if we know what is this and what is this, we know what
Yeah.
it is going to print, and it printed train and cell. But the good thing or the tricky part is, okay, after printing this print was present inside the body of this loop, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And this for loop was present inside the body of this for loop. It's
Yeah.
it's getting complicated, but just leave it there, and
Mm.
let's try to focus on this, only this for loop. Okay, let's suppose that we have this value somewhere like in our imagination, and this value, this category variable, we are getting this from this for loop. So as soon as this print statement will get executed, the execution would be handed over to this for loop once again, and this for loop would be like, okay, cell is done, go to the next one, bring the next thing
Yeah.
to me,
Face.
and yeah, it will go here. It will again use the previous value of this data set, which is like this train. It didn't get got
Oosh.
updated because this for loop was still running. It was like I still have more and more values in this B
Mm.
list, so it was running and running and running. So that's why it was printing train cell, train face, train flower, and that
Mm.
stuff. Like, did you got? And after this second for loop ended this list, it was like, okay, now I'm good with that. Now, get out of my body. As soon as we got out of this, like this body, it's like, go out of my body. And as soon as we get out, it like our execution is handed over to this loop, because this loop is like, oh, I have few more things in
For
this
you
A
to
list.
include, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, now we have this test thing, and then test comes here, like test come in this thing. It again goes to this B thing, and B is like, oh, I have couple of them. It's like, okay, bring this test here. It's like this, it's coming here, and after that coming here, and this thing is used from this thing. Oh, this thing is used from this, and after this, something like this. So it's kind of this it, it's this zigzag thing. Face is coming here, and then here. Face is coming here, after that it's coming here. And in this process it's coming like this, and after, like, it's this and this and this, and then it's like, oh, I need this, and after it's like, oh, this thing. It's quickly, just kind of imagine, this is kind of slow, and this is like really fast. It's like, oh, this. So that's why this is kind of same, and this part
Yeah.
is kind of changing. Okay.
Interesting. I
Uh-huh.
one thing I know is that I understand it right now, but I would be able to internalize it by watching the video and really take it in better. That's why I'm
Uh-huh.
glad that we're recalling.
Let's
Yeah,
take
I
my
understand
example.
it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I only be able to remember when I like spend my own time and
Exactly.
stop, play the video, stop it, think about it, play the video, stop it, think about it, then
Mm-hmm.
do some practice. Then I will know that I have memorized or I kind of stall it in my head to where I can remember it on my own without having to
Mm-hmm.
um, always come back to watch the video. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, just a quick example for you. It's like this, and print I. Here you can see what this loop is printing, right? This is printing
Yeah.
something like this. And if I just copy this thing and do the same with this, I enter just a print statement, print k, and that's what this is like outputting. Just compare. It's like 10 up till 14, 20 up till, from 20 up till like 23 or 24
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, that's. But if I do a kind of nested loop, you will see this value stays the same until it has looped through all of these values. Like you will see right here, it's like this is one group like 10 10 10, but these values are new, and then again it's like 11 up till here. But the second part, the value of k was like quickly getting updated. That's what happening. I stays the same because when it kind of loops inside this loop,
Inside of the loop. Yeah.
yeah, 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 I guess you got the tricky part. I is kind of same. It's 10. It's like 10 here. But this loop is saying, oh, I have 20. I have 21. I have this. So
I
it's
still have
not,
more, kind of.
yeah, it's not letting the execution go back to this. It's like, oh, come here. I have more things. I have more
I have
things. I have
more.
more things.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, yeah. And after like when as soon as it finishes, it's like, no, now you can go up here and
You
update the
can go
value of
back.
I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all about like for nested for loops, and we can also do nested while loops, but it really depends like on few things when we need to do that. The syntax is kind of really kind of similar. Like we just need to enter while and like some condition true or something, and then write some code and write some code. And it would it would be similar. Like it will go here, go round 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 round, and as soon as this condition will get false, it will be like, okay, I'm done. And then the execution will go to this loop, and this will again start, and then this will again start looping through. It's something like, but let's see if down there we have any kind of new example. That's what I wrote here, and that's what we have here. Oh yeah, so, oh my god, it has been 1 hour and 30 minutes. We just cleared the concept of last session. But anyways,
Yeah.
we are just near to
Well, it
finish
was
that because
important. Yeah. It was important.
yeah, it was really important. We are just near to finish this Python basic stuff. After that, we don't have really much to do. Function, that's the good part. So any thought about Python function, what they really are, or any?
Yeah. I know functions are predefined in Python that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
call. Yeah. Like def is a function. You're asking to define something. Print is a function. You're asking to print something. Len is a function you are because it understands it as you are asking for the length of a particular list or something. So, and then you can maybe create your own function.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's true. Like all
yeah,
of whatever you explained, like all of the stuff you explained was like really that was that's what it is. But the part you mentioned, like def is just referred. We just use this when we want to create a kind of custom function or user defined
Custom
function.
function, yeah.
Yeah. But for built-in function, you were right. We have print, that's like a built-in function. We have length somewhere, I don't know, inside that. We use that length, and anything which is something like this, which uses
Range
like
is a
even ranges,
function.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
has these two round brackets, and
yeah.
these round bracket indicates that there we have like some kind of uh, name of function, and then we have like these two brackets. So that's
Yeah.
the the
And
syntax
one of the
identifier.
characteristics of function is it prints it in a particular color. Maybe
Color.
when we type it, it shows a particular color to make us know it's a
Yeah,
function. Yeah, yeah.
it really depends on the color scheme you're using. So the
Okay.
color will keep on changing, but yeah, it's indifferent. These are,
Yeah.
in my case, these pink things are Python reserved keywords. We can't
Yeah.
use these keywords to store as a like I can store anything in I, maybe like 55, but I can't really store
Anything
something
in
in
four.
4 because it's
Yeah.
a reserved keyword in Python. In is also a reserved keyword, and this range, why it's green, because it's a Python class.
Mm.
Python, it's not technically not a function, it's a class, but we can treat it
As a
as a
function.
function or something. But this print is a kind of Python function. Yeah, it's in yellow thing. Yeah, and length was also in yellow somewhere up here. Item, this is a method actually. What method means? Method means that a function present inside class is called a method, and it's in same that yellow color because it's a function, but it's present inside the class, so that's why we say it a method, but it's also a function.
Got it.
Okay, so let's come here and see. A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. So, yeah, pretty much clear. Whenever we will call that, at that time it will run. You can pass data known as parameters into functions. So, like right here, inside print function, we are passing in parameter, which is this string. And this function, in this function, we are passing this like these things, and these are called arguments, but at the time of defining the function, these are known as parameters. But when we are calling that function and passing something, we are passing this parameter to this function while calling this function. But at the time of defining, we are like, in this function we have defined one argument or one parameter. Oh, maybe I like fumbled up. Like at the time of defining the function, this is called argument. This function has one argument named as fname, and at the time of calling it, it needs one parameter, which we gave Emily, which is Emily that we gave to it. It's, you will know this as you will like code about that, but here they're just talking about like predefined functions are really clear. We don't need to really do much with that,
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
that stuff. But
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
custom functions or user defined functions, that's a tricky part.
Mm.
Not really tricky actually, but okay, let's create a session for not here.